So, for those of you who don't know, my questions are open. So, if you have a question that you want to ask me, you can just go onto my profile, click on the Q&A thing, and it'll send me a question directly, and then I can respond to it directly on here. But I've had several people private message me with some questions, and so I'm going to answer a couple of those. This video is going to be focused on Jehovah's Witnesses and their treatment in Russia. Do I support the way that the Russian government is treating them? Things like that. First off, for those of you who don't know, the Russian Orthodox Church has a lot of power and influence in Russia. Putin, instead of trying to stamp down their influence, has kind of like aligned with them and basically made them the state religion and put a lot of restrictions on religions that aren't part of that Orthodox. So Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, other evangelical religions, all of them are facing some sort of like restrictions and persecution. So, do I agree with the Russian government putting those restrictions on Jehovah's Witnesses? No, I do not. I don't believe that random Jehovah's Witnesses like that simply have a watchtower in their book bag should be hauled off to prison because of their beliefs. Even if the Russian government was putting these restrictions in place for the right reasons, in other words, if they were actually trying to target like the witnesses because of their abusive policies and practices, I still wouldn't support the way that they're going about doing this. Like I said, I don't think that every single Jehovah's Witness should suffer just because the leadership is abusive and dishonest. I think that the leadership should be held accountable. I think that individual elders who break the law or who help cover up the abuse of children, things like that, I think they should be held accountable. But if you're just someone who simply believes what the Jehovah's Witnesses believe and have their literature, I don't think that that's a reason to punish anyone. One of my primary reasons for disagreeing with the Jehovah's Witnesses is the fact that they do not allow people the freedom to exercise their beliefs. They punish people for changing their belief system if they decide to leave the organization. It would be incredibly hypocritical of me to say, yes, this is wrong when Jehovah's Witnesses do it, but when the Russian government does it, I'm totally in support of that. Aside from it being immoral, it's also counterproductive. All it's doing is feeding into the witness persecution complex, and it's also creating sympathy converts. Worse than that, when your religion has to go underground, if there is some sort of like abuse within the congregation, you're going to be less likely to want to report it if you feel like you're part of this persecuted minority, and then you have to go to the cops and be like, this person within our group that shouldn't exist and that will go to jail if you find out that we're meeting, they abused my child.